Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. XDC XinFin is on our radar today's video. Before we go into detail of the magnificent news, we would like you to please pay attention to the other videos that we have on the channel, including various different projects and of course some deep rabbit hole discussions as well. And also do not please forget to make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that bell button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Guys, today's news today from XinFin, highly anticipated, highly expected news around the TRADA token. This is quite significant, guys. This is part of the trade mechanism of the world, and what we mean by this is anything that can be related to the trade market, or indeed here, as we see here, private debt opportunities, real world businesses, and supporting the manufacture and shipping of goods. Now, for those that don't know, we're talking about a $6 trillion, more than a $6 trillion market per day globally. And to have this significant movement for the TRADA token, and the reason why this is so significant for XinFin is because it's going to be utilized on the XDC XinFin network and also utilized with the XDC token. So we go back to one of my previous videos where I asked, is XDC a scam, because of all the people saying that it was one. Well, we fast forward a good 6-7 months since that video, maybe even longer, and we see yet another utility aspect, another ecosystem portfolio project of the powerhouse that is the XinFin network. There's another really interesting part to this story for me personally, because I go on about them all the time, and if you do follow them, you will follow the money. If you follow the money, you will see what's coming in the next 8 years, something I've researched very well since 2015. The World Economic Forum, my friends. TradeTech, a World Economic Forum member, has selected the XDC network to launch TRADA. Now, there's obviously an aspect here about NFTs. Now, this is not just equivalent to pieces of art and silly ape pictures and things like this. We're talking about anything and everything that is outside a 1-to-1 ratio. We're talking about houses, we're talking about cars, anything that could be a product or service can be turned into an NFT. Very confusing for people out there because people just think they're pieces of art. They are so much more. Work in the Web3 space, and in particularly gaming, where NFTs are a big factor of this, and that's another avenue. But more importantly, from a trade perspective and from supply mechanisms, products, goods, anything, as I said, cars, houses, will be NFT applicable and on blockchain. And we're talking about the trade market, we're talking about a multitude of humongous markets out there, including the ones I've just mentioned. So we see here, for example, the real world assets, and extends access to the trade finance market. So we're talking about this being a security token. We see the difference between utility token and security token. A lot of this conversation comes out of, like, for example, with the SEC recently, talking about LCX and whether that's utility or security or this, that, and the other. Of course, here with a security token, we talk about equity securities and debt securities. All those things we just mentioned at the beginning of this video. It's about stocks, housing, products, produce, whatever it may be, and being able to transact these and move them about on blockchain for traceability, for verification, historic data, anything and everything you can possibly think of that can be associated with blockchain data, blockchain technology. I'm super excited about this, guys. As the moments I mentioned just a minute ago, I think more importantly as well for me is this World Economic Forum link, because this is significant, guys. Now, I know that specific members of the Conservative Party here in the UK are on the World Economic Forum board. I've said it several times in the last few weeks. We can see the number of the G7 existing portfolio of people like Boris Johnson, Merkel, etc., all disappearing left, right and centre across Europe and the world, and all of a sudden will be replaced by people who I believe will be taking the financial level, finance to a new level with the likes of CBDCs, the introduction of NFTs, and these aspects of trade finance using blockchain technology. Mark my words, you heard it here first. I truly believe Sunak will be the next Prime Minister of the UK, who is a fundamental member of the World Economic Forum and also a significant person when it comes to finance and institutional wealth, as well as being a Digital Pound Foundation member and founder also on top of that. So we've got these kind of things happening in the background as well, which makes it super exciting, especially as we talked about the RTGS system being replaced. For those that don't know, go and watch that video. We're talking about the replacement of SWIFT and CHAPS, the existing system that's been there for decades, being replaced with blockchain technology, the utilization of things like Algorand, Quant, Ripple, Stellar, and a couple of others I haven't mentioned yet, including XinFin XDC, of course. We're now seeing the fruition of this. Here are some other very important topical points here. The XDC network is our chosen blockchain to develop this system, and XDC is the only crypto asset that can be used to purchase TRADA. Unbelievable, guys. Of course, we could relate this arguably to the likes of Quant and everything as well, because they all are heavily interlaced at this moment in time. But yes, securitized trade finance assets on the XDC network at the same time will give SMEs, small medium enterprises, the world over unprecedented access to the financing on which they depend. This is huge, guys. Like, for me, the TRADA token itself is quite interesting. As far as I'm aware, it's a 1-to-1 ratio with US dollar at the moment. I've set up my account on here, just waiting for verifications. But as far as I'm aware, even if I put 100 TRADA tokens on here, it comes up as $100. So it's almost a formulation of tokenization of blockchain, but in the trade market instead, as I said, with the application of blockchain behind it. So for me, it's more about the XDC network being used as a utility token through XinFin for all these ecosystem projects. We talk about MetaBlocks, Impel, LCX Exchange, Globiance, all of these things, guys, that are building this ecosystem from behind. So if you missed the boat on Ripple and Stellar a few years ago, I still feel I was a bit late to that massive party, albeit still think it's very early, even with Quant still. XinFin for me is an appropriate price point with a beautiful supply, a beautiful metric system with the tokenomics and how it works, to see all these humongous opportunities coming on this network. It's given me goosebumps, guys, because I see the power of the next 5-10 years, as I said, with trade finance, with the way that CBDCs and things will go, and the way that blockchain will be taking over anything you can possibly think of when it comes to internet, produce, supply, automation, autonomous vehicles, drones, whatever you say, all through blockchain. This is significant, guys. And one last thing here at the bottom, the TRADA launch signals blockchain's adoption in a regulated arena. It positions the XDC network as a way to connect real-world finance organizations with DeFi markets, decentralized finance markets, confirming a number of reports by Deloitte, JP Morgan and CoinDesk that foresee a wave of tokenized assets on the blockchain in the years to come. So if you think you're late, you're not. You're early. This is exciting, guys. On this topic, guys, let's jump into the chart of XDC. We haven't seen humongous movements yet. I'm sure we'll see some news filtering out over the next 24 hours or so to the XDC fans out there and the general scope of cryptosphere. Bear in mind, we are in a market of bearness. Got those words the wrong way around. We are in a bear market. There we go. This would signify that most big major announcements don't tend to have a huge impact on the market. However, what I would say to that is understand the magnitude of what's been going on in the last 24 hours with TRADA and XDC and all the others, because this is what fulfills the future as an investment, as a return on investment. So for me, anything under 10 cents, as I always said with XDC, is an absolute steal to have it right now still under 3 cents is incredible. And if Bitcoin does decide to ever come down to 17,000 again, or even lower to 15 or 12,000, we could see even lower points of XDC. If you remember in the previous video, we drew these low spectrum areas of buy orders. They're still in there on my portfolio, but for sure I will be accumulating a lot more right now, and I will still be waiting for these lower regions, at the lower region of 2 cents and slightly under that at 0.018 or 0.017, I think I put it on as. So on the week we're still slightly up, on the month we're still slightly down, but the 3 months and the 6 months are coming down gradually and very nicely. I think we're in a poised position to be accumulating XDC in a reasonable fashion, but do assess risk, do your own research, of course. Just do what I do in that sense of dollar cost averaging. Be sensible with your orders on the way down, as well as selling on the way up in incremental percentage stages. This is the way you can reduce the risk significantly. Other key points here, as I mentioned before, we've already had the big sell-offs and we've had this consistent wave. This is suggesting lack of confidence in the market still, but right now people have been buying slowly but surely with XDC. This is going towards my point that I just made about consistent purchasing, being very clever with your risk assessments to make sure that you're positioning yourselves at good areas, and monitoring these indicators as well. The RSIs themselves are still in the middle ground, so for me, I'm happy, particularly on that 28 day at being 43, to be accumulating right now, but holding still majority of my USDT or USDC on Bitrue, I think, for my XDC tokens at the slightly lower prices. We will have to see. If they don't come out, fine. I've been accumulating a lot recently of XDC, and if we go up in the forward trajectory, brilliant, we're making profits. So guys, that's where we kind of are with XDC at the moment. As you can see, floating bang on just under the 3 cent mark. We're not supporting at 3 cents yet, so I still think there's valuable opportunities in the next couple of weeks to be obtaining XDC at ridiculously low prices compared to where I believe it will be in the future. People ask me, where do you see XDC in the future? Well, I would personally, and I'm not being silly here, I do believe by 2025, the latter stages of 2025, especially when the RTGS system is fully replaced and everything is in motion with security tokens, trade tokens, trade markets, all of these things, I could see XDC being a minimum of $5 by 2025 at the end of that. Quote me or don't quote me, but that's where I see it, just based on the magnitude of what we're talking about. We already spoke about the trade market alone being worth $6 trillion, or maybe around $6.5 trillion per day. I'm not saying that that's going directly immediately into TRADA or XDC, but they will be taking a piece of that pie, I can assure you. Guys, please leave your comments below what you think about this TRADA opportunity with XDC being on the XDC XinFin network as well, and your general overall thoughts about the whole thing. Really keen to hear what you want to have to say. But guys, thank you for watching. We'll wrap that up there. We will indeed see you in the next XDC video update. Bye bye.